The coronavirus relief package includes tax benefits and deductions that overwhelmingly benefit the privileged and business owners. So the tax breaks are so ridiculous that even Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin spoke out against some of them, especially the so-called double dip tax benefit that comes along with PPP. The program that's meant to help small businesses during COVID-19. The COVID-19 relief package, as Bloomberg reports, set for a vote in Congress would clarify that business owners can deduct expenses paid for with PPP loans, which can be forgiven by the government without incurring a tax. The deduction benefit could generate more than $100 billion in tax savings for business owners, according to the Brookings Institution. For business owners paying the top tax rate, it generally means they can save as much as $37 on their taxes for every $100 of tax-free PPP money they received. Like, that number should blow everyone's mind and everyone should be angry about it. Steve Mnuchin, as I mentioned, was against it. The legislation would actually override Mnuchin and the IRS, who have blocked businesses from writing off rent, utilities, and other business expenses paid for with tax-free money. The agency says the tax code prohibits that sort of doubling up of tax benefits. I also want to note that the $300 that Americans will receive in unemployment benefits for 11 weeks, right? $300 per week for 11 weeks, that is not tax-free. It is not. So that is considered taxable income that Americans will have to essentially, pay back to the federal government once they file taxes in the beginning of the next year. And that it just shows you how, on one hand, you have businesses who get these tax-free forgivable loans, which they can then use to deduct from their taxes when they file. And then on the other hand, you have average Americans who desperately need unemployment assistance. That money is considered taxable income. And one video that I want to toss to before we go to you, Cenk. Here's Republican Senator Ron Johnson pretending as though he cares about the debt whenever they're having discussions about providing real relief to average Americans. Take a look.
When I came to the Senate, we were a little over $14 trillion. Our GDP was over $15 trillion. We're actually below 100% of GDP. Now, I know I'm using a lot of numbers right now, and I'm going to use more because that's part of the problem. And one of the reasons we are $27.4 trillion in debt is we only speak about need. We only talk in terms of compassion. We all have compassion. We all want to fulfill those needs. We just don't talk in numbers very often. We don't analyze the data. We don't take a look at what we did in the past and see, did it work?
Just want to note that Ron Johnson voted in favor of Donald Trump's tax cuts, which cost the government $2 trillion over a decade. So Ron Johnson does not actually care about the debt. When it comes to tax cuts for the rich, always on board, 100% of the time.
Well, it goes further than that, Anna. He actually benefited to the tune of a couple of $100,000 himself personally from those tax cuts. So a couple of $100,000 for Ron Johnson, that's not numbers, that's compassion. But when it's $1,200 for you, dude, we got to talk about numbers. Who cares about compassion? I already got paid, man. That's what he's saying. I already got 100 times what you got, 200 times what you got, and so the government is only compassionate to incredibly rich people like me, Ron Johnson says. And guys, why do we constantly get mad at the Democratic Party? Because these Republicans are so easy to beat. All you gotta do is fight them. And all of the Democrats say, don't, whatever you do, don't fight our beloved Republican colleagues. Dick Durbin just spent the last week kissing Republican ass. He went out and gave a speech about how Donald Trump did amazing things with Operation Warp Speed, and we have to thank him. You're pathetic, man, you're pathetic. When Ron Johnson gives that speech, somebody should get up, and Bernie half did this. He went after him, but he should have said what we know to be the facts and David Sirota wrote about, which is, hey, listen, you already made a couple $100,000 off the bills that we passed. So don't you dare tell us that the average American can't afford $1,200. But is there any chance that anyone outside of Bernie would do that in the Senate? 0% chance, 0%, 0, 0, 0. Democratic leadership, no chance at all that they would ever fight back effectively against Republicans. So it's just, I can't stand it.
Yeah. Look, since you're talking about Democrats, I think it's important to point out that in some cases they're actually far worse than even you're describing, because House leadership includes chairs of incredibly important committees, including the House Ways and Means Committee, which of course Representative Richie Neal is the chair of. He's a Democrat, and he, by the way, transparently on his own website, neal.house.gov, indicated that he absolutely wanted businesses to be able to double dip with this tax benefit. I'm gonna just read you a few excerpts from his page on his website where he says, consider a company that gets a $100,000 loan and whose owner has a 22% tax rate. If the business pays $100,000 worth of deductible expenses and has the loan forgiven, that would provide a $22,000 tax benefit on top of the loan forgiveness. Members of Congress say this benefit is exactly what they intended. So he's saying like, no, this is what I want. This is exactly what we intended. Here's a quote: as we expressed to Treasury during the development of the PPP, we did not intend to deny the deductibility of ordinary and necessary business expenses, nor did these small businesses expect to lose deductions for their business expenses when they applied for a PPP loan. Remember, the PPP loan is tax-free. They're not paying taxes on that money, which can be a forgivable loan, right? And so the people who signed that letter, by the way, Senator Chuck Grassley, Republican from Iowa, Senator Ron Johnson, a Democrat from Oregon, and of course, Representative Richard Neal, a Democrat from Massachusetts. So it's just absolutely horrendous.
Look, I actually think there's two separate issues here. Number one, in terms of the actual double dipping for the small businesses, if you just own up to it, and apparently some of them have, yeah, I just want to get more money to small businesses. This is another way of getting money to them. Okay, that's one thing. And I could actually totally live with that. But when you say, I don't want people to get unemployment and the direct check, because that would be double dipping for the average American, you're saying, I don't actually want to help citizens. So I would never double dip for an actual American voter. But for small businesses, and that's better than big business, I'll let them double dip. Okay, well then you obviously have hypocrisy. But to me, the worst one is not in terms of the size of it, but in terms of how galling it is the 3 martini lunch tax exemption. So they say, Trump's like, it's for the restaurants. You're not gonna go to lunch twice, okay? No, it allows you to deduct all of that from your business expenses. So that means all the executives are gonna get to go to lunch for free, basically. There's nothing that helps the richest people in the country, just like for fun, more than this. Like the big giant tax cuts help them more, et cetera, financially. But this is them kind of like rubbing it in your face and laughing about it. Of course, the biggest advocate was Larry Kudlow, but are we surprised that he would be in favor of a 3 martini lunch tax exemption?
Yeah, and by the way, that amount would be 100% deductible. The entire amount spent on these dinners, it's not like, a portion of it is tax deductible. No, the entire restaurant bill is considered tax deductible based on how this relief package is written.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.